said, ladies and gentlemen, we got a great call lined up. He's back with us this month. He's been with us over a year, and we just love him dearly. He comes with a great information. He just sit back, open one of his mini journals up, and just do a fireside chat on the history in the making. In other words, everything he's given us is something that he has got because through the years, and he just gurgitates it out. And I love that about him. And it's always informative, and it's never late, but it's always on time. Without further ado, from the Southern California area, he's one of the co-founders, go-to, does a lot of training for ACN as a whole, nationally, internationally, and we're just so proud to have him back with us this month. The one and only, the great Mr. Dean Tarrolly. Let's get it.
What is up, Mr. Thomas? How are you, sir? Good to see you.
I'm doing sensational.
Excellent, excellent. Sounds like it, man. You're ripping off all these people signing up reps. The month has barely started, man. This is pretty exciting.
Yes, sir. It is very exciting.
Right, yeah, for sure, for sure. You know, and you know, one of the old sports analogies, right, is it's not necessarily how you start, it's how you finish. But here's a little hint to that. People who start fast tend to finish big, right? So whatever you need to do to start your month fast, you have a better chance on finishing big. So congratulations on all that, Mr. T. I think it is awesome. It's good to see everyone. A pretty good number of people on the call, so that's exciting as well. So, you know, you guys, I guess, you know, I've been doing this for a long time, and I got to figure this out, and I haven't figured it out. But for some reason, Mr. Thomas keeps bringing me back, and I figure you guys, after a year, y'all got to be sick of me by now. I mean, you just gotta be. Well, I'm going to go over a few things today that I hope will help. Last month, I hope that you guys, and by the way, this is not just for you. This is also, you know, my existing calls, my leadership calls. The tone of last month's calls that I did with you in April were a little different, and that was by design. Okay. It was on purpose. I was not, you know, I mean, we had fun and laughed through some stuff, and hopefully you guys grew through some stuff, but it was a pretty serious conversation about some accountability and really finding out what it is that you're doing in your ACN business, part-time, plan B, on the side, around your family, your work, your life, your faith, and all those things that are really important. That's not really going to be the tone of the calls this month, but I need to just reference it because it's important. It's important when you get in an environment like Mr. Thomas provides, with all these different opportunities to put people in front of the information, all these different opportunities to be trained. I mean, my gosh, you guys, he does a call 5 days a week at 9 a.m. for you to advance your businesses. That's a pretty high level of commitment for someone who's hit the pinnacle position in our company and doesn't really need to do that. Just a perfect example of how leaders lead, how regional vice presidents look to someone like a Mr. Thomas. And you guys, I really want you to hear what I'm saying. People that are maybe in my position look to someone like Mr. Thomas, who doesn't need to be on a 9 a.m. call. By the way, how about this? He doesn't need to read off everybody's name. You guys feel me? Like, he doesn't need to do that. You know, I gotta remember this quote. For the man who does more than he is paid for, in the future, he will be paid for more than what he does. And you know, little things start to add up. Little things like reading off everybody's name, having a call every single day. And I just want to make sure that as we start the month, that I lay the groundwork for you all to understand my feeling about Mr. Thomas, our friendship. I've come to him when I was going through challenges on my road to and after I hit RVP. By the way, you guys, let me tell you something. let me just tell you something, right? Mr. Thomas is a senior vice president. I am a regional vice president in the company. Jocelyn Driscoll is a regional vice president in the company. Mr. Julian Lewis is been nationally recognized top producing RD in the company. And there's a host of others on the call, and apologies for not naming everybody. But I want you guys to know something, right? This might come as a shock to you. Mr. Thomas has people flake on him. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? He meets somebody and they want to do he piques their interest and that person says, yeah, I'm interested. And Mr. Thomas sets up a Zoom or maybe a coffee meeting, person flakes. Unbelievable. See, some people have this impression, well, nobody flakes on an SVP. The only difference between an SVP and an RVP and an RD and RD and an ETL and an ETL and a new person, we've all had more people flake on us than you. That's it. And I'm going to cover how to handle that. We've had more, you guys, here's what we've had. We've had more no-shows. We've had more flakes. We've had more, I'll do this, but I didn't do anything. And by the way, this should be very reassuring to every one of you. The only difference between Mr. Thomas, Jocelyn, myself as regional and senior vice presidents, we've simply been willing to go through more of that perceived pain than other people. That's it. That's the only difference. Now notice the word that I put in there, perceived pain. See, when you're around long enough, you understand that people flaking on you, people telling you they're interested and they're not, people not showing up when they said that they would. Let me be very clear about this, you guys, before I dive into the meat of what I want to go over with you today. Okay, let me tell you this. People did that to you before you ever signed up an ACN. Anybody ever have like a barbecue or like have an event and like your friend says, dude, I'm going to be there. I'll bring a case of beer, or whatever. And somehow they don't show. It's like, dude, what? Oh, so let me get this straight. We're all human beings and human beings have flaked on each other from the beginning of time. Okay. So I don't want you to get caught up in that. Understand it's part of the process. It's part of it is something that you have to go through in ACN. You have to. You cannot help someone through something that you haven't been through. So you need to look at all of those kind of situations as opportunities to learn, opportunities to grow, and an opportunity to help future people that are on your team. See, folks, look, let's talk expectation for a second. I sincerely hope that you all expect to have a massive team. I sincerely hope that you all expect to go regional director. I sincerely hope that you expect to go regional vice president. Hey, do you want to go regional vice president? Yeah, I want to go regional vice president. No, I don't want to go regional vice president. I am going regional vice president. I don't want to go senior vice president. I am going senior vice president. And see, when you guys, there is a change that happens when you start talking that way. Let me tell you guys something. Don't get this freaking twisted. The messages that you send yourself are the most important messages you're ever going to get. Look, doesn't matter what Al says. If Al has a level of belief that is off the charts, and your level of belief is not even on the charts, that's a challenge. So then you have to go into this mentality of borrowing the belief of the leader that you're working with. Okay, you need to borrow. Could you guys imagine someone saying this to Mr. Thomas? Yeah, I've heard of ACN, didn't really think that it works. In fact, I don't even really know why you're doing it. Could you imagine if Mr. Thomas went like this? Could you imagine if he goes, you know what? You might be right. He's made millions. Come on, you guys. No one. He would actually start to laugh at the person. Yeah, I don't really know if that ACN works. I truly don't even know how to respond to you because it has created a lifestyle for myself and my family for 2 decades. What are you talking about? Well, here's the thing. That comes from a level of belief. Now, I'm going to dive in here. So check this out. Why do we want you to have results? Okay. Why do we want you to have results? Well, first of all, look, nobody joins Little League to not play. Nobody good. I mean, it's insanity that someone would sign up at the gym to not go. I mean, here's something I want you guys to write down. I'm a little off script right now, but I want you guys to write this down because this is sort of what I'm feeling is, did I sign up to win? Did I sign up to win? And you guys, this is an important question. And again, I'm not gonna carry the tone that I took last month. Last month was a tone of like, you know, time to, okay, Mr. Thomas, permission to be direct?
Yes, sir, be direct. April the 8th, our call was Advance Your Business. I can't wait for the title for this month.
Well, look, here's the thing, you guys. Here's the thing. Last month was a bit of, you know, slapping everybody around a little bit. And I'm gonna tell you right now, right? I'm gonna tell you right, yeah, Sam's like, Sam Foster, right? But that's what it was. Now, look, if you don't feel like April did that for you, then I have to tell you, you were not engaged in our conversations. That is not what this month is about. This month is about getting it, you know, this month is going to be a lot of leadership, right? So, and let me tell you why. The reason is because if I did my job in April, you should have had results in May, and you should have some people to work with in June. Let me say that again. Now, see, that's the way that my brain works. If you guys took what I went over and applied it from April, you should have had results in May, and now we have some people to lead in June. Just by a show of hands, you guys, does that make sense what I just said? Okay, so here goes. This is important. Now, let me dive in here to my book. So the first thing that I want you to know, and I want you to write down, you've heard this before, but there's going to be a second piece to it, okay? Just write this down. I've probably said this 30 times over the course of the last year that you guys have put up with me. Here's what I want you to write down. Opportunity is inconvenient, okay? So you've heard it before, but I want to hit it with you a second way, or I want to hit it maybe from a different angle. Opportunity is inconvenient. So what does that mean? What does it really mean? It means that if you want to build this and you want to build something of significance, and I hope that the only reason that you signed up in this is to build something of significance. I hope you didn't sign up in ACN to build an insignificant business. That would be a waste of time and money. If you're building something that's insignificant because maybe you want to do some stuff and you want a little bit of recognition and you show up on 9,000 freaking training calls and there's your, by the way, let me clear something up about this. I've been talking to my team about this a lot. I am not a fan of plugging into 9,000 trainings. I'm not. I am not. Now look, if your upline RVP or SVP says plug into every team's trainings and everything, please, I defer to them as it pertains to you. But there are people that are specifically on my team, in my downline on this call, and I'm letting you know right now, do not plug into everything. I'll let you know what to plug into. How about that? How about that? Let's just, right? Here's why. Here's why. And it's nothing against any leadership. I love the leaders in ACN, but too many messages can start to conflict. And then you get information overload, and then you end up getting stuck in neutral. You can't do that. You guys, let me tell you something. If someone has ever played sports, there is a playbook. They don't give you the playbook of 9 different teams. It's the playbook for their team, from their coach, with their system, because there is a method to the madness here. So I'm just letting you know right now. Like I love doing this call for Mr. Thomas because of my relationship with him, right? So I have people on my team that I know that they plug into this call, but I kind of know the leaders that he's going to have speaking and the message that's going to come across. What I don't want you guys to do, I want this to be a summer of breakaway success for you. And you know what that means? That's going to be on you. That's not going to be on you plugging into 9,000 different calls at the expense of taking action. You know, for some people, I have people on my team. Like, you guys, you're on another call. How about this? Instead of taking that hour, look at, have you been taught how to peak? Have you been taught how to get a customer? Have you been taught how to recruit? Have you been taught how to build a relationship? Have you been taught how to build rapport? How about taking an hour and going and doing that? And let me tell you what happens. People hide behind these trainings. I said I wasn't going to get too, well, it doesn't matter. And I guess it's a little spillover from April, so whatever. Here's the thing. People hide behind these trainings. They do. I plugged into this, I plugged into that, I plugged into this, I plugged into that. How many customers have hit the books? How many reps or how many people have you presented to? Well, there's the one rep I signed up in, in April, and we're trying to get him going. Why? So you're putting your business on hold for one rep who hasn't decided whether or not they want to get qualified. They're past their 30 days. This is insane. No business would ever run that way. Why would we do that here? So let me go back. Can you guys believe I'm not even a half a cup through or not even through my first half a cup of coffee yet? Craziness. I don't know how this is. I don't even know how this call is happening right now. Okay, cool. So let me just tell you this, Mr. Thomas. Okay. I'm going to give you a little hint on going RVP. Okay. So this is for the ETLs that want to go RD, and certainly for the RDs that want to go RVP. And this is from one of my friends. I'm going to quote her directly. She's a regional vice president in the company. She hit the position years ago. I think she maybe has been on this call before. But I had her talk on our last Saturday training, and she said something that was so remarkable. I actually wrote it down 3 different times in my notes. Now, Mr. Thomas knows I'm a note taker. I refer back to my notes consistently. And I've already written it down 3. You guys, listen to me. I've been doing this for 17 years. She said something that impacted me so significantly in terms of wanting to share this with you that I've written it down 3 separate times for 3 separate trainings in my book, in one of my books. Okay. So my friend is Carrie Roeder. She's an RVP up in Sacramento. Great lady, great leader. And here's what she said. I was talking to her with a group of leaders about our Saturday training that we do every Saturday. I was talking to her about her run to what she had to do to become a regional vice president. Okay. And here's what she said. And you can write this down word for word because it's a direct quote. Okay. Here's what she said. Yes, Christine, you typed it on there. Well done. She said, but there's a word missing from what you just posted. And then, by the way, the word that's missing is the key. So watch this. Watch this. Well done. She said, I consistently rearranged my life. I consistently rearranged my life. Now, this is going to be a watershed moment for some people on this call. For some of you that aren't really dialed in with me, it's not going to make a difference. But for those of you who are, I'm going to tell you something right now. Here goes. What is the difference between someone who goes RVP and someone who doesn't, and they sign up in ACN? I'll tell you, there's a few factors. There's not a lot, by the way. There's not a lot of factors. There's very few, in fact. But I'll tell you what one big one is. Someone who decides to go regional vice president was willing to consistently rearrange their life. Mr. Thomas is the first one out of the screen to start nodding. You want to know why I know he knows it? Because he is a senior vice president, and it is impossible to hit that position without rearranging your life consistently. Not for a season, not for a season. I'm talking about consistently. Now, what does that look like? Does that mean ignore your family? Of course not. Does that mean ignore your health and you're going to the gym and your faith? Of course not. What I said was, and what Carrie said was, consistently rearranging your life. What does that look like? Look, you guys, there's nobody here that can predict what's going to happen before the end of the day today. Can't. We don't know. Now we can try to impact it. We can try to affect it, but we don't know. So here's what happens, right? Watch this. You're on your path to take care of something in your ACN business. Something comes up that requires your attention. Let's say it's some family issue, and it takes you off course. Well, part of the job of a leader is to get yourself back on track once you've handled this thing that holds more priority. Well, guess what has to happen? The thing that you were going to do later in the day now must be rescheduled and rearranged to keep your original goal back on track. And the fact of the matter is, most people are not really willing to do that. Right? Guess what they do? Many of you probably just said the words, they put it off until when? Leaders don't put things off for very long. Sometimes things need to be rearranged, but not for very long. They get back to it quickly. Life comes in, throws you a curveball, deal with life, do your thing. They get back on track quickly. They don't mess around. So I want you to really think about this before I go into this next part. Are you willing to consistently rearrange your life? Now, listen, if the answer is no, guess what? I respect that. Look, you. I've gotten to know some of you guys over this Zoom, but look, you. But don't be in the business of kidding yourself any longer. I want to become an RD. Really? How many people did you talk to this week? 3? No, you don't. You're interested in becoming an RD. You're not committed to becoming an RD. And there is a massive difference between those two words. It is easy, but look, you guys, who in the hell wouldn't want to be interested in RD? Give me a break. I mean, the kind of money that's available at that position, and it can still be part-time on the side of the job, who wouldn't be interested? That's not the question. The question is who's committed. And that commitment requires action. It's not just showing up on all these dang trainings. It's getting the information and getting out there. So write this down. I need to get out there. You guys, the world is opening up. Listen, we're about to hit a renaissance period in ACN when the world opens up and we've mastered Zoom. And now we have both of these things to be able to build this business. Let me tell you guys something. Don't miss this window. Be willing to consistently rearrange your life to get you where you want, if you're really saying that's where you want to go. And you guys, this is old school training. If you say it, mean it. Now, look, if you don't say it, don't worry about it. If you don't really mean it, and look, and by the way, for the record, you guys have heard me say this in the past. If you're an executive team leader and that's where you want to be, and you don't mind being on the slow boat to regional director, then that's fine. Then that's fine. Do this how you want. But if look, I'm talking to you guys as if you're all on my team. I'm assuming that you're on these calls on a daily basis because you're not just interested in participating. You want to win. Do I have anybody on this call who wants to win in this thing? Like seriously win. Then you need to get to work. You need to get to work. And what is our work? Our freaking work is talking to people. Give me a break. You know, it's funny. My personal mentor, Mike Basutti, let me tell you guys something. This guy is insane. And when I say insane, when he gets into ACN work mode, there's nobody in the history of the company. Ask Al. There's nobody in the history of the company that's done what Mike Basutti has done. There's not. It's almost a maniacal obsession. But guess where he is right now? Montana. Guess what he's doing? I have no idea. Hunting, fishing, living with his kids. He was willing to pay that price for a window of time. Do you have that kind of work ethic? Are you willing to consistently rearrange your life to get the rewards that come from becoming really, really good at this business and building a massive team? That's up to you. That's completely up to you. And you have a say in it. You have a say in it, a huge say in it. So now here we go. A couple things. You can write this down if you want. Control comes from doing. You want control in your life, you want control in your ACN business, it comes from doing. Power, your personal power, the power you have in your business comes from being. Who are you being? Who are you being? one of the old things that I learned a long time ago in ACN, leaders never show worry, doubt, fear, or anger. Leaders never show worry, doubt, fear, or anger. By the way, could you imagine if you're like the coach of a sports team and you're showing fear and doubt and worry and anger and you're getting ready to go into a game? You've lost your team. We're undermanned. They're bigger than we are. They're faster than we are, but they're not smarter than we are. And we're going to win this game because we have a game plan to do it. I'd get behind that, coach. Let's go. Like I want to run out of the locker room right now. Are you being that person? Are you being that person for someone on your team? Control comes from doing, power comes from being. You got to figure out who you're being. So you guys, I'm going to go through some stuff here right now. Just get the notes, okay? Just get the notes, and then you guys will be done with me for the day. All right, so here goes. Here's what I want you guys to have mastery of. The first one, mastery of vision. Vision. And don't confuse vision and goals. Mastery of vision. Don't confuse vision and goals. People have and will abandon their goals, but not their vision. What's your vision? People have and will abandon their goals, but not their vision. Number two, leaders are under vision. This is still under vision. Leaders live in the future. Leaders live in the future. You guys have heard me say that before. I got that from Mr. Tejada, Senior Vice President Efren Tejada. Leaders live in the future. Develop a vision that's so big that other people's vision fits into your vision. Develop a vision that's so big that other people's vision will fit into your vision. Well, hey, new person who I'm launching, what do you want to do? I want to get time back with my family. I'm building a team of people that's our goal. I'm building a team of people that's our victory. That's what we want. We want to get moms and dads back home with the family. Could you get behind that? Absolutely. So number one, you have to get mastery of vision. So here comes number two. Here comes number two. Mastery of state management. So number one is vision. Number two is state management. How you feel right now matters. But you got to get good at managing your state. You need a system. You need something to get yourself in a good mood. Oh, I'm having a tough day. Great, have it. By the way, scratch that shit. Oh, so sorry, Al. Scratch. Yeah, the Italian's already coming out. Scratch that stuff. I'm having a bad day. I'm having a bad minute. Something that happens does not happen to have to take place in your whole day. Look, I'm having a challenging hour right now. I'm gonna hit you in an hour. Let me just get this thing cleaned up. Go beat up a pillow, go scream into the blanket, get it out of your system. And then you need a system to get yourself in a good mood. It could be music, watch some clips of a funny movie. Let me tell you something, you guys. Last night I was in the greatest mood as my daughter and I had a daddy-daughter date night, right? And so we went to dinner and came home, watched a movie, and is one of my favorite movies of all time. I personally think it's one of the funniest freaking movies of all time. Anyway, let me go back to the training. So you guys want to know what it is? Does anybody want to know what it is? Okay. So for me, one of the funniest movies I've ever seen in my life is called Midnight Run. Robert De Niro and Charles Grodin. One of the funniest damn movies you will ever lay your eyes on. Robert De Niro has never been funnier, and Charles Grodin, I can't. I'll completely, like, you guys. So guess what? That completely affected my state. Like the looks and the words and the things and the circumstances and the story that happens in that movie are just like, it is, to me, it is gut-wrenchingly funny. It's my kind of humor, and it's great. So you need a system to get yourself in a good mood. Throw on some tunes. It doesn't matter to me. So here's the next thing. How do you feel when things happen? Someone doesn't show up. Someone does show up. Someone signs up, someone doesn't sign up, right? Here's how you fix how you feel. The certainty that you know that you have a global business, that we're going to build hundreds of millions of dollars in billing, and you need to be a communicator of what's coming. You need to be a communicator of what you're going to be doing. You know, a few years ago, I did this tour and I was doing meetings all over the country. And one of the things that I told people, I did it in Cleveland, I did it in Chicago, I did it in Wisconsin, I did it in Minnesota, and here's what I told everyone, right? You got to call your shot. Every once in a while in your life, you need to call your shot and live by your word and follow through on what you said you were going to do. Call your freaking shot, man. You know, Al was asking what this month was going to be about, and that's what it is. This is calling your shot. You got to call your shot. I will be a regional director by Thanksgiving. I will be a regional director by January 1st. This is the last year you will ever see me as an executive team leader. There's nothing wrong with executive team leader, but you guys, you don't want to live there. There's a bigger house down the block with more money and more rooms. It's called Regional Director Lane. Call your shot, man. So the three things under state management are certainty. The second part under state management is clarity. You need to know your outcome. When you are clear, that is powerful. When you are clear, yes, I love the comments. Dave, you're right. Make a declaration and own it. Like, I get all these comments. And by the way, I'm not knocking. I think it's great that you guys put these comments on there, but it's got to go from words into action. When is it going to go from words into action? When is it going to go from words into proof? When is it going to go from words into, and I love Dave Culver, one of the greatest guys ever, one of the best team players I have ever been around in my entire career in ACN. Will go out of his way to help anyone do anything if he is available. But he knows how I feel about him. I want him to go regional freaking director, man. So I want these words. You know, Christine Blitz, she types a lot of stuff all the time. Go regional director. Okay. Like Sergio, you're down there. Like, let's get this done. I mean, Jamar, let's get this done. Coach Johnny, let's get this done. Let's get this done. So the first one is certainty. The second one is clarity. And the third one is courage. And next to courage, here's what I want you to write down. It's okay not to be perfect. I would rather take someone who is imperfectly working consistently than someone who is perfectly not working. You know, Greg Provenzano used to say, go muck it up. Go muck it up. So under state management were a number of notes, and the three main ones are certainty, clarity, and courage. A leader is someone who will take someone to a place that they're not going to go on their own. That's a leader. And here's the third one. Okay. Number one is vision. Number two is state management. You have to manage your state. And number three is beliefs. And there's two types of beliefs that we have. We have encouraging beliefs and we have limiting beliefs. And if you're having an issue with belief, borrow the belief of the leader. And you want to know how to shift your belief? Hang around with people who've solved the problems that you have. It's one of the reasons why I think these calls with Mr. Thomas are really valuable. So just know that if you guys want to go RD, it's not the number of points that you need. It's not. And you know why I know that? Because there's some of you on this call that have been within 200 points of RD for a long time. Right? You've been inside of 200 points to RD for a long time. It's not the number of points that you need to work on. It's the decision to get it done that you need to work on. So that's what I got, Mr. Thomas. That is my time, sir. I hope that that was helpful. This is a call your shot June. So next week, actually, I'm gonna have to let you know about next week.
All right.
This next week, and I will confirm or reconfirm with you. But I'm gonna let you guys know that we're gonna have a little bit of interaction during this month. But you need to call your shot. And one of the things that you all need to call your shot is, if you're going to be on this call the next time that I'm on it, do not listen to me. Oh, Mr. Thomas, sorry, I probably should have cleared this with you first, but I think we're on the same page. So look, here's what I'm going to tell you. Unless you hear differently from Mr. Thomas, okay, do not be on the next call that I do if you don't have an RD date that you are going for. If you can't figure out a regional director date that you are going to get this thing done, do not be on the next call that I do, because I'm not looking to work with that person this month. Maybe in a couple months if Mr. Thomas ever has me back again. But you guys, I want to see you go regional director. I want to see you guys get this thing done. I want to see you guys be, here you go, last thought. See, when you get into production and we get you a result, here's what happens. Do you guys want to know what happens? Are you sure? You want to know what happens when, okay, so here you go. I'm gonna tell you what happens. When you get a result, here's what happens. It is belief for you and it is proof for them. It is belief for you and it is proof for them. Who's them? The uncle that says it doesn't work. The brother who says they ended up with a garage full of blah, blah, blah. The neighbor who says, I did ACM. They don't even know how to say the name of the freaking company. Insanity. It is belief for you and it is proof for them. What in the heck do you think is going to happen when you go regional director? Oh my God. It is going to be awesome. It is going to be awesome. So if you guys, now look, I don't care what your date is, but the next call that I do, there you go, look at Doug Soto's screen, November 3rd, 2021. He's already got his date written down. If you guys don't have a date for regional director, then, well, look, you can deal with that with Mr. Thomas. You guys know how I feel about it. Let's get you guys promoted. So, all right, Mr. T, that is what I got. I hope it was helpful. And it's good to see you, man.